Good morning and welcome to Tech First Draft. This is the news before it's news. So I'm trying something new right here. I'm going live with people that I'm interviewing for stories in Forbes, and we're going live on LinkedIn, we're going live on Twitter, and we're going to have some fun with it. See how it goes, see how it works. I'm with the CEO of TechSee today, and we're talking about smart home tech that isn't very smart. So my name is John Kutsier. I write for Forbes, I consult with tech companies, and you're with me, along with me, on an interview for a story. We're doing it live. Welcome to Tech First Draft. This is the first one. So I'm being a guinea pig here, and the CEO of TechSee is being a guinea pig or a pioneer, and we're having some fun here. We're talking about smart home tech. That's not always so smart. So I want to introduce our guest, and our guest is the CEO of TechSee, Aiten Cohen. TechSee does customer experience and support with AI and AR. Very interesting stuff. Welcome, Aiten.
Thank you, John. Thank me for hosting me and trying you on your first ever live draft. I'd be happy, to be the torch for the next guys to come.
Excellent,
Thanks
excellent.
for having us.
You released a report. You surveyed a lot of people about smart home tech, and a lot of our experiences with smart home tech are interesting, right? We don't always have the best experience with smart home tech. I had it recently. I had to redo my router, my internet router where everything comes in, and you have no clue how many items are connected to your Wi-Fi until you have to redo that. And I'm still fixing stuff that hasn't been reconnected, our garage doors, for instance. And so my wife is on my case to get it done. But you did a survey about smart home tech and some of the usage problems, like installing it, getting up and running. What did you find?
Well, that's it's like, what do you feel? I guess a lot of people feel like that, and in fact, people vote with their feet, as we say, and take a lot of these purchases back to the store or return it
Yes.
via, it's like Amazon. And in fact, the driver for this survey was really trying to find out why people return these products and why, it's like the adoption that everybody predicted 3-4 years ago is not there yet. I mean, smart speaker are great, and I think every second home in the US right now have smart speakers, but it's almost all about that, right? I mean, all the others are trailing way behind, and the question is why. So what we found is that really the real issue is simplicity of use and install for consumers. And it's, in fact, 51% of the survey responded that they view it as critical to be able to use and install it properly. And 74% of them said they will return it if they can figure it out. So, how many tech geniuses out there? Most of us, just want to push the button and get it to work, right?
Absolutely.
So that's actually, it's like the key finding is there. It's like set up and install got to be simple. And I mean, there are a lot of data. There is a lot of data behind it. What kind of problems people run into? What are the challenges? But the key factor is it's better be work quickly, and we want to be able to see it live. So this is why, it's like when you look at YouTube, this is like I mean, you go out there and how to video. I think it's the most viewed channel on YouTube.
Yes.
People just want to see it. They don't want to read instructions. Nobody reads the manual. And they want it now. So if it doesn't work, then problem starts.
Exactly. It's interesting. I just had a comment from a viewer here. Continue to ask my friends and neighbors for help with their smart home setup and issues. Absolutely, I have the same thing. And it's not just the installation, right? But it's the ongoing experience. So we have a bunch of Wemo switches in our house. My friend used to be the CMO of the company, and it's great when it works. But I'm constantly having to reconnect them and other things like that. So it's an ongoing challenge. Talk to me about some of the devices or classes of devices that you found in your survey were the hardest. They're most challenging to install, the most challenging to maintain.
Well, you cut right into the meat. Well, it's I think the immediate aspects are there all the time, and we all know it. I mean, anybody that has a smart thermostat in their home Very hard. I mean, Nest thermostats are all over the place, but how many people install it by themselves? Very few. And you should see the manuals out there how to install it. So smart thermostat, and not just Nest, anything like I'm just picking up on Nest because they are the biggest one, but everybody out there is pretty difficult, and as well as security system, right?
Yes.
This is traditionally been a sector where you had to have a technician, and there's been a lot of good work done to simplify that and get it to the point where you can place your camera. But guess what? The problem occurs when it's not about the device itself, because it has one button and one
Yes.
cable to connect. It's when you have to connect it with other devices, or you have to connect it to an app. This is where people
Yes.
kind of fall short. Okay, why doesn't it work?
Yes.
And complicated.
It's interesting because one of the harder devices that we've had to install, we have a smart doorbell, right? So I can be in Jamaica and somebody presses doorbell, I can see it in the video and I can respond to them as if I'm home, that sort of thing. But to do that, if you want it to actually work in the real world as well in your house, you have to connect it to the physical infrastructure in your house. That just and challenging ones for me. What are some of the
Well, the easiest
easier
one are
ones to
smart
start using?
speakers.
Aiten?
I'm sorry, I think we had some delay on the broadcast. It's still beta, so it's good. We're all good.
Yes.
No
Yes.
panic. The easiest one to install are those devices that really, I think smart speaker are the are most mature in the category, and Amazon did a great job on simplifying how to install it. And in fact, they put it as something that they really put it as a main design goal to make those
Mm-hmm.
things, installable. And you see it on in the penetration rate. But when it comes to connecting other devices to Amazon, then it's become a little bit more tricky. So definitely things like smart lock or Ring doorbells are much more complicated. But if you look at it, there are not a lot of devices out there in terms of category like smart speaker. I mean, the
Yes.
remote switches are pretty simple. I mean, you plug it to the wall, but then you have to connect it to your network, and then things are getting complicated. So nothing is really simple. And this is where, it's like we're trying to see what can be done when we work with our customers. What can we do differently that haven't been done so far to
Mm-hmm.
help customers not only, set up and install. You mentioned it before. It's also kind of finding out the experience, right? I mean, experiences with those devices, it's like if you don't read the manual and nobody explained to you, so you use like 10% of what they can give you, right?
Yes.
And it's really for a lot of the smart home product manufacturers, it's throwing a lot of design work and hardware they put in to be able to do much more than you actually use it for. Most
Yes.
people use Alexa just to find things on the internet. They do,
Yes.
they how
Or
many
play music.
or play music, exactly. That's
Yes.
what I do, by the way. But then it's like when I come to connect it to my doorbell and my or door lock and do other things, I spend a lot of time doing it, and I'm a techie guy. So it's like that's where the challenge is.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I'm fairly technical as well, so I managed to do a lot of that stuff, but it's a pain in the butt every time. And fortunately, my son is a third year engineering student, so I get some help on the hardware, which is not my favorite area.
You have
Um,
unfair advantage.
what's that say again?
You have unfair advantage over
Yes,
us.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So Amazon has been working. I just talked last week with the VP of Smart Home for Amazon. Great conversation. Haven't posted the story yet. But what's the economic impact of smarter, easier to use smart home devices? They've built a program which they want you to be able to install. They'll certify products that will install simply by voice, simply by talking to Alexa. What's the economic impact if we can make it really, really simple?
That's a very good question, and I think the one way to answer that is to look what is the cost of not doing it right, because what customer tells us, the survey shows that many of the people would return it. So out of the I would say over 70 billion worth of smart home devices returned. Okay, over 70% of them are no fault found, which means people, when they state why they return it because it's not simple to use, and they couldn't figure out to get the value that they were hoping to get from it. That's one element of it. The second element is, think about this smart home devices. I mean, to get Echo Dot, it costs you $29, right? I mean, if you have to call 3 times for support, you already killed the model. If they have to
Yes.
send a technician, you killed the model. So there are more than 10% of the people calling about their smart home devices, and the economy to support that is not there. It's like the technology is commodity and labor costs a lot, right? I mean, you still have to pay minimum wage for people to answer the phone. This is where it's like the economic impact is truly adoption of consumers. So it means not having it simple enough, slowing the growth rate, and not only that, it's making it heavy on the books of the manufacturers in turn by the
Yes.
returns and by the supports cost. So this is where the pain is, and this is where we feel the driver from the manufacturer to fix. This is why we work with many of them about the experience, about the ease of installation and support to make it really to take it to um, more simplified way or more humanized way, I say, because we look at each other now, we do a live broadcast. It's much more natural communication than just talk to the wall or talk on the phone, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. And much easier as well if I can ask you a live question rather than hunting through documentation or something like that. So that's what you do. That's how you help. You talk about using AI and AR. Can you talk a little bit about how you use those technologies and what you use them for?
A great question. The way that when we founded the company, our vision was, it's like, look, technology should be accessible to anybody, right?
Yes,
Anybody should be able to use technology by themselves without needing someone to help. So what is
yes,
the best way experience that you can imagine? It's like if you had your personal technician, over your shoulder, whispering in your eyes, do that and do that, you would be the genius guy in the neighborhood, right? And that's what we strive to develop. If you want to look at it, it's a simple way. We built smart eyes for Alexa, smart eyes for Siri, and we leverage any mobile device. It could be, your smartphone, or it could be your portable Echo Show, or anything that can give you access to the visual. And we use AI really to extract the information what you are looking at in terms of what the device is, what kind of model. And we use AR to overlay information in an interactive manner to help you actually interact with it. Push this button, plug this button, look at the app, and it's like go to setting and click here. And there's a lot. It sounds like a magic, but it actually works. And we have a lot of videos out there in the web that shows kind of different devices. Even it's like with Nest thermostat, with Echo, Amazon Echo, and with Philips Hue, you can see a lot of how you can simplify things. Really,
You know what's really interesting about that? What's really exciting about that? There's a lot of development in AR for manufacturing for very high end things like aircraft engines and stuff like that. And so you'll see uses for Google Glass Enterprise Edition version 2 overlaying, and there's some aircraft technician, they're fixing something that's super technical. There's a million details going on, high end, high stress, high value industry, right? And you're actually bringing this to the low end and making it available to anybody, which is very, very cool. Good to see.
yeah. Thank you. It's you're right. I mean, in the enterprise world, there is a lot of expertise in people themselves, right? The technicians. So you learn, you go to engineering school, you do a lot of things. They still need help, and we try to provide it. But where's the pain really is with us, in every day. I mean, everybody has someone calling them for help on something they don't know. And in fact, for somebody that knows, it's a simple thing. It's not like
Yes.
rocket science, right? And that's the problem we're trying to do. Kind of not solve the rocket science problem for that requires very high skill, but anything that is most of the people fall through the cracks. It's like this is where we are to help, and we are unique in leveraging computer vision to service the eyes into the problem.
Wonderful. It's been great chatting with you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I really appreciate it. And appreciate your time. You've been the pioneer, not the guinea pig, and you've done a great job.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Thanks so much, John Wester, as well, for participating in the conversation. We'll look to have more of that next time we do this. And this has been Tech First Draft. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a nice
Have,
day.
you
Bye-bye.
too. Goodbye.